Have you ever noticed how magnolia petals almost look like silk when light touches them? In this video, I'm painting a magnolia illustration step by step in Procreate. There are butterflies resting on the flowers. A curious squirrel appears near the vase. And behind everything, there's a colorful folding screen landscape. If you end up liking the final artwork, you can download the wallpaper and the printable coloring page on my Ko-fi. The link is in the description. Alright, let's start with the sketch. The drawing actually begins with a fairly detailed sketch. Even before color appears, the composition already has several layers. In the foreground, there is a magnolia branch. The flowers sit in a porcelain vase placed on the wooden table. The petals take up most of the front space. Because the magnolia is the main subject of the painting. Around the flowers, there are a few small visitors. Some butterflies are resting quietly on the petals, and near the base of the vase, there is a small squirrel. It almost feels like the squirrel has been attracted by the blossoms. Behind everything, there's a folding screen. The screen contains mountains, small pavilions, and distant landscapes. So even in the sketch stage, the scene already has foreground, middle ground, and background. Once the sketch feels balanced, I begin blocking in colors. At this stage, these colors are not final decisions. They simply help divide the painting into different regions. This makes it easier later to adjust the lighting and textures. So the magnolia petals receive a softer pink tone. The porcelain vase starts with blue shapes, and the folding screen at the back begins to show its background colors. Originally, the plan was simple. All four screen panels were supposed to share the same color. But while painting, I realized something. It might be more interesting if every panel had a different atmosphere. So the mountains stay, the pavilions stay, but the colors change from one panel to another. You might see this as 4 seasons, or you might feel like 4 moments of the day. Now the focus returns to the magnolia flowers. Magnolia petals have a very special texture. They're smooth, soft, and slightly reflective, almost like silk. To create that feeling, I begin blending the colors. Instead of painting every gradient manually, I use a gentle smudge technique. The smudge tool helps the colors melt together. Slowly, the petals begin to look softer. The highlights appear on the curved surfaces, and the inner folds become slightly darker. This contrast gives the flower a stronger three-dimensional forms. Compared to the petals, the branches are much simpler. Thin lines suggest the bark texture, but the branches stay subtle. They support the flowers. They should never overpower them. Next, the porcelain vase becomes visible. The vase is painted with blue and white patterns. The designs are inspired by traditional Chinese porcelain. Thin white lines create decorative motifs over the blue surface. When the vase first appears, something interesting happens. The blue color suddenly becomes very eye-catching. For a moment, the vase almost steals attention from the flowers. So I go back to the magnolia petals. I deepen the shadows around the edges of the blossoms. This restores the balance between the vase and the flowers. Painting often works like this. One element becomes stronger, then another area needs adjustment to bring harmony back. Now the smaller elements begin to appear. The beads on the table are drawn with very fine lines. They are not meant to become the main focuses. They simply suggest the texture. And the squirrel is also kept relatively simple. A few strokes indicate the direction of the fur, especially around the tail. One charming And that completes the painting. If you like the finished artwork as a wallpaper or a coloring page, you can download it on my Ko-fi. Thank you for painting with me.